What's going on, everyone? Destructible here today, and we're taking a look at one of my top 5 favorite builds, probably one of my strongest builds. This just eats bosses up, it just tears them apart. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff, and you have a wonderful day. What's going on, YouTube? Destructible here today, and we're taking a look at the Destructable Spellbinder. Yeah, I know, that's my name, and that's what I'm naming this build after. So anyway, this is, I've already done a Spellbinder video before. However, I was messing around with this Spellbinder, trying to make a spellcaster with this set, and had insanely awesome results. So anyway, let's get into the skills, items, and all that stuff. But for those who don't want to hear about all that, just take a look at the Grim Tools link below, and you can find that. And then if you want to see the gameplay that's going to come afterwards, I'll have a link somewhere right above where I'm talking right now, showing where the gameplay is going to start at. So anyway, let's get into the gear. So first things first is we're using the Clairvoyance focus set. And for those who watch my videos, I butcher the name of everything. So yeah. Anyway, this is a Vitality Aether build right here. As you can see, we're getting a lot of Reap Spirit and Alberic's Aether Ray from this. So thing to mention is you're getting some additional Aether damage to Alberic's Aether Ray from this first piece right here. And then a full fire damage converted into Aether damage to Alberic's Aether Ray right here, as well as some Aether damage added to Reap Spirit. Then we've got 2 mythical Alberic's dualities right here, which is going to give us 4 points in total to disintegration. A bunch of Aether damage, all your chaos damage, because I'm using 2 of these, is being converted into Aether damage. And then Aether Blaze, this is a 10% chance on attack to put this Blaze of Arcane Fire beneath your foes. That has a chance, that has a very short skill recharge rate on it. And so this procs pretty often. Just going to say that right now, and it does quite a bit of Aether damage. Then we've got the mythical Clairvoyance hat right here. So this is going to give us 1 point into Arcanist and Necromancer. And then as you can see right there, that Vitality DK damage over time is being added to Alberic's Aether Ray. And then a full lightning damage converted over to Vitality damage to Alberic's Aether Ray, as well as the Vitality DK damage is being added to Reap Spirit. We've got a 2-piece right here of Wubbaduck's eye right here. I hope I said that right. Thing to mention with this is we have the 2 sets, so we're getting that Vitality Aether damage right there, an additional little buff that you're getting from using the 2-piece from this. And yeah, that's basically it. You get some points into Harbingers of Soul and Mark of Torment. We've got Wubbaduck's Effigy right here, which is going to give us some more Vitality Aether damage. And then also has that Wubbaduck's Will, which is a 10% chance on attack. It does a little bit of Vitality Aether damage to the target, and causes them to flee for 2 seconds, terrifies them for 2 seconds. We've got the mythical Clairvoyance Mantle right here, which is going to give us a couple of points into Alberic's Aether Ray, and give us a little bit more chaos damage being converted into Aether damage, but again, it's not a big deal, and that's really all you're getting from that. We got the mythical Aether Reach right here. This is going to give us some more Aether damage added to Alberic's Aether Ray, reduce skill cost, and then also reduce skill recharge to Reap Spirit, which is big. That's a pretty nice little -2 second skill recharge to it. And then also we've got Aether Cascade, which is granted from this, and it does quite a bit of Aether damage to 5 targets, and is a very short recharge. It only has a 10% chance to proc attacks though, so it's kind of low. We've got mythical Wraithwalkers right here, which is giving us a bunch of points into. We're not using everything on here, but we're getting that Aether damage from this. This could be substituted for something else, and then we get that Wraithwalk, which is a 100% chance when a hit to avoid projectiles, melee attacks, and then increase movement speed by 20%. And then we've got Mythical Mark of Anathema right here. This is going to add some Aether damage to Calidor's Tempest, and then to Siphon Souls, which we're not going to be using. And yeah, but this is giving us some Aether and Fire damage. This could be substituted for something else. We got the Mythical Spirit Seeker Cord right here, which is going to give us a point into Necromancer and Maven Sphere of Protection, and Rape Spirit, as well as some Aether damage, and yeah, that's basically it for that. Then we got Agrivix's Malice right here, which is going to give us some Aether damage and Chaos damage, which is kind of nice because we have that Chaos conversion into Aether damage. So that's going to buff us up a little bit. And we got that Agrivix Malice, 25% chance on attack to do that very short skill recharge. It's 1 second skill recharge, and it does a bunch of Aether damage. And then we also got that +1 to disintegration at the bottom for the completion bonus. Then we got Mythical Wraithborn Leg Reps right here. This is going to give us points into Reckless Power, Spectre Wrath, Albrecht's Aether Ray, and then that Aether Blast Wave, which is a 30% chance when hit to do that Aether explosion around you. And then it knocks down the attackers as well. Pretty darn good. We're getting a bunch of points in masteries that we're basically using with that. Last piece is Mythical Clairvoyance Robe right here. This is going to give us points into Disintegration and Reap Spirit. And that's basically it, as well as some more Chaos damage converted into Aether damage. We're basically overcapped on Chaos converted into Aether. It's like 200% or something right now. I don't know. I mean, it's ridiculous. So anyway, now let's get on in to the masteries. So first things first, I put like 1 point into this. This is a couple points into Mirror. I think it was only one. I only put a point into this because of the damage absorption that you get from it. So if you wanted to be a little bit more defensive and you're doing a lot more boss encounters, you might find it good to put more points into this just so you can have it up more. But the damage absorption is not going to go past 100%. So keep that in mind. We've got Myvan Sphere of Protection right here. I only picked this up for more damage absorption because he will be getting hit with this. And then Conversion right here, which is going to reduce that stun duration. That's basically the only thing. And it also reduces the freeze, entrapment, petrify, and gives you that slow resistance. Mainly it was for the stun duration, so I can reduce those stuns. Next thing there is we got Albrecht's Aether Ray. Max this out. Pretty sure we all get it. It does a lot of Aether damage. It's really insane. And then Disintegration maxes out as well to increase that crit, fire, Aether damage, electric damage, all that. It's just getting buffed quite a bit. Then I went and maxed out Fabric of Reality right here. This is going to give us an increase to Aether and Chaos damage, which we have a full Chaos conversion on it. So yeah, it was pretty good just to pick this up, as well as some Energy Leech. We went with Mental Alacrity. I don't know. I don't know. This is going to give us an increase to attack speed by 12%, which is pretty big. And then that 22% skill energy cost reduction. Energy is not a problem with this build at all. I'm just going to say that right now. But that 12% casting speed is huge. Then we've got Arcane Will, which procs whenever you get below 70% health. And increases your damage by 190%. Gives you a bunch of defensive ability. And that's really all we needed from this. Just that damage buff. Next is Inner Focus. So this is going to increase our spirit by 27% and give us that offensive ability. So this is going to push the offensive ability up real high. That's the main reason we picked it up, but also that 27% increase to the spirit is real good. Lastly, we got the Necromancer Mastery Tree right here. We got Harbinger of Souls, which is going to be our active buff, our exclusive skill that we picked up, and that increases our vitality and Aether damage. It also gives us increased attack and casting speed. Physical damage converted into vitality damage, attack damage converted into health. It's just real good. We got Reap Spirit right here. Reap Spirit is another one I went and maxed out because that's really all we're doing with this build is just using Reap Spirit and then Albrecht's Aether Ray. And that's all you really need to do. You'll see it. I have had no problem with anything I fought just using these two. The only downside to this is you don't have very many AoE abilities, but to me it was not a problem because Albrecht's Aether Ray just destroys things. I mean, absolutely destroys everything. So yeah, this Reap Spirit is insane. It summons these little spirits, and then the dot it puts on, make you can see right there, just does a whole ton of vitality DK damage over 5 seconds. I've watched it where I've put this on, and then like there's just this dot hitting the boss for like 100k. It's ridiculous. Next, we've got Mark of Torment down here. So this is really big. This is probably my best boss farming build. I use this. So Mark of Torment As you can see, it adds some damage absorption, so there's a 54% of the damage is actually absorbed, and then 364 damage absorption is reflected back at the enemy. So the harder you're getting hit by a boss, the more damage you're technically dealing to them. It's really insane. I used to play a lot of WoW. I don't anymore, so just think of it as like a karma, basically. That's all it is. It's really insane. This is what I use when I fight all the bosses. And yeah, I would put as many points in this as you can to get that damage absorption up. Then we've got a Spectral Binding, the last ones we're going into here. It's just going to increase our Aether damage a little bit more, give us some health, offensive ability, added Aether damage. And then coming over here, we're going to have that reduced attack speed, physical resistance, Vitality Aether, and then added Aether and Vitality damage. And that's basically it for that. And let's get on into the Devotion Masteries that I went with here. So first things first, I went with Will of Ratosh right down here. This is going to reduce that Vitality resistance as well as do some Vitality damage and Aether damage. And I bound this to Reap Spirit. It has an 87% chance on attack, which is pretty high. That's the reason I put it on Reap Spirit. I wanted to have my most active ability proccing Raise the Dead right here. So Raise the Dead, the thing to mention is that this they scale with player damage bonus right here, these little skeletons, and they do Vitality and Aether damage. So I put this on my Albric's Aether Ray, and 2 of them get summoned at a time and has a very short skill recharge. So they're basically active all the time, and without my buffs on right now, that's what they're doing, is 3,000 Vitality and 4,000 Aether damage, and then reducing resistances, the target's resistances by 25 as well as slowing them. So you basically got these skeletons up all the time. If they die and the one just gets summoned, I mean they're basically being summoned like all the time. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I just keep them up right there. And then we got Tip the Scales right here. So that 20% chance when hit to do some Vitality damage, some Energy Leech, and then 132% of the attack damage is going to be converted into health, as well as reducing the resistances even more. So that's basically it for this. Thing I'm going to mention right now is like when I'm fighting bosses, when I'm trying to kill them the most, like the quickest way to do it, I actually want them to hit me, because I'm going to sit on Mark of Torment, and or at the start of some fights, depending on how long I know the fight's going to last, I'll actually start with Mirror, just to have that damage absorption at first, and then once the boss, if it's like a big boss that has multiple phases, I'll wait until he gets to the second or third phase, and then I'll use Mark of Torment so I can sit there and just keep casting my Aether Ray and Reap Spirit, and then you just destroy him. I mean, I'm killing some pretty like big super bosses and stuff in 10 seconds with this build. It's insane. So anyway, this is the Destructable Spellbinder right here, and it is probably my favorite build right now. I know I say that like all the time, because every new build that I get and I finally polish it, it just feels good. But this one's insane. I have not had these results. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff, because I got a lot more coming. And enjoy the gameplay footage it's about to roll out.